Welcome everybody to the Watchlist right here on the Latiners Network, the show we review all the shows that come out on streaming as part of your weekly virtual TV guide, and of course let you know what's coming out by the end of the show so you can create your very own watch list. Very excited today because there's a lot of shows to talk about, but it's also the commencement of the NFL season. Everyone's very excited. Sundays are packed, which means a lot of fantasy football fans are very
And
excited.
and about what time is it? Almost 8 o'clock. So in about 4 hours, we're gonna
Four
get
hours
seven
away. I mean,
hours.
technically, I know it started Thursday, but it's the first Sunday that really counts, right? The Thursday is like a little morsel, an appetizer, if you will.
Mm.
The meal comes later today, so I'm very excited. Chewy, of course, my co-host here, is not very excited because, come on, bro, he's just in it to play for have fun. He's got zero chance to win any leagues, but he's participating. Maybe we'll give him a trophy for that. Chewy, welcome to the show. How you
What's
doing?
up, brother? What's going on?
Very
Good man.
excited, very mediocre. I talked earlier. We did like a little practice run earlier because I screwed up. But
A
that being
little
said,
deja vu.
the deja vu here. But that being said, very mediocre week of stuff this week. A lot of stuff. And next week looks even worse unless you're like Chewy, a big young adult fan. But I'm gonna give everything a chance. That's what we do here. We watch them, let you know what we think about them, give our recommendations, so you have some time before, after football to watch some of these shows. So Chewy, let's get into it. 'Cause I know you didn't see this one here, and that is of course Pinocchio, the
Mm-mm.
new Disney Plus release.
No, I chose to watch Love and Thunder again.
Definitely a much better choice than this. I was telling you earlier that I was not a fan of this reimagining or whatever you want to call it. It's not really a reimagining, just really a redo.
No, it's just a
It's a redo,
live action remake. Not
right? Like
even
we've
a
seen, yeah.
reboot. It's nothing.
Beauty and the Beast, Dumbo, whatever you
Mm.
name it, Lion King, which are all just mediocre at best. They don't do anything with this, and with these kind of films, they don't update them the way they should, right? Or do something new and creative with the property. We mentioned about the Toro's version coming out, on Netflix, which
That
looks,
one
yeah,
looks very
right.
interesting.
Then doing something with the property, doing something different. Whether it's good or not, we'll see. But at least they're making the attempt. Disney just plays it
Mm.
safe, and this one here is just the jokes don't land. It's geared more for a much younger demographic, which they don't have to do that, but it is what it is. Tom Hanks is Tom Hanks. He's never bad. If he can't be bad. Unlike Chewy's fantasy team, there's a thing going
Yeah.
there's a thing going on here today, folks. But yeah, it's just dope. He doesn't really turn into a real boy, which I found odd. 'Cause that was the whole point of the film to begin with, and his struggles and the consequences of trying to become a real person, what he has to do to do that. That was odd, but it's just so safe and simple. And I really wished Disney would give us something more updated. I told Joey earlier, would do it in today's times, particularly social media, and have that kind of aspect of it. That would be much more
Modernize it.
interesting, right? Modernize. There's something interesting with it. Even one of the jokes I mentioned, something they called him an influencer or something like that. But in that time period, influencer doesn't really match with anything because no one knows what influence really means. They're just trying to tell a joke to kind of appease the demographic, but it just doesn't work. Yeah, it's a dud. It's dull. There's no heart to it. It really is no heart to it. No charm, no magic. Right? It's just Disney. These kind of films need to have that. A lot of these films have lacked it. So not a recommend. Disappointing. It really was disappointing. The reviews are all right. I heard the reviews. And I'm like, oh, whatever. Maybe a little harsh. I don't think it's as bad as what everyone may be saying about it. But it's definitely not a good film. Definitely one I am not recommending at all. Sad to say, but it is what it is. I knew I shouldn't have watched it. It was the last minute watch, so I'm like, all right, let me just see it. What the hell?
Should have skipped it.
Should have stuck to the plan. I didn't stick to the plan, so that's on me. So that's unfortunate. But the next one, docufilm on Netflix. I didn't get a chance to see this. Busy week. I had to make a couple of cuts. But Chewy did see it. The Anthrax attacks. Chewy, what you think about this? A little bit about it, and what you think about it?
This was actually not bad, actually. Very interesting documentary. So this is about the Anthrax killer. I think this was 2000, early 2000s, so right around 9/11. And what they've done is they've kind of mixture of interviews and kind of recreation of some of the conversations with the prime suspect at the time, well, the second suspect at the time, through his notes and conversations and interviews with the FBI. I think it's played by the actor. He was in Agents of Shield and Thor, and obviously some of the other movies. I can't remember his
Oh,
name.
Phil. Oh, the character.
Yeah, Phil
Okay.
Phil Coulson. I can't remember the actor's name.
Doesn't matter. He's Phil Coulson.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Exactly.
Who cares?
And so I would say it's a very interesting telling of that story, and they do it in a pretty very good way where you care about what happened and obviously go through all the details of the attacks and the planning and the investigation. So it was very, very interesting. I would definitely, if you have time, it's only, I think it's less than an hour and a half. So I would definitely watch maybe an hour 15.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it a point to watch it. Usually, the beginning of each week is usually very light. Most shows come out, Thursday, Friday, sometimes Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely I wanted to see it. Like I said, just something's got to go. Despite
Yeah,
the fact that I was even off Friday, but I just wanted to see more episodes of the other shows we're gonna talk about shortly. Um,
sure.
but I know one you're very excited to talk about. We all are, and that's of course Rick and Morty, beginning of season 6. Did I lose count?
Season six
This is
is,
6. Okay,
yeah,
season 6, of course, finally back. Adult Swim, one episode every Sunday night. I mean, this. What are we gonna say about the show, right?
that's
It's
great.
great. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if you guys aren't watching, you're probably not gonna watch it, right? Let's be clear. There's a couple of
Even
shows.
when it's bad, it's good.
Right. It's a couple of shows
And
today
it's
that are
not
very
bad
similar.
very often.
No, it's not. And this was a really cool beginning to the episode, picking off what last season ended off.
I
And
mean, it mocked a little Avengers Endgame.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. At the beginning, yeah.
Like, it gave us the humor. It gave us the A and B story. Brought in Space Beth, and I think for the first time, really introduced what we're going to call Rick Prime.
Right.
And is now give us more serialized. It still makes it into the non-serialized stuff, but making it more serialized with the stuff that we like enjoyed as with the storyline with Evil Morty and what that and that's ended up playing out over several seasons. They answered some questions. I mean, they brought back some deep cut jokes from stuff that's been like from season 1 and season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what you can appreciate about the show is even as you watch all these seasons and they make references to stuff that answer questions that were left unanswered in earlier seasons, but they still part of the seamless telling of the story. Is just great, right? So
Yeah, this is a good.
uh,
It kind of gave us a taste of how the show's grown and the characters themselves.
mm,
Like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh, that's the way they used to
mm,
be. That's really cool, right? Kind of taking us down that road and the
mm-hmm.
changes that we forget about that. This show's been on. It seems like forever. It's been a long time, but it's only been for 5, 6 years or maybe longer. But
Yeah.
it's felt a lot longer than it has. Yeah, dude, it's just too good. It's just too good. I mean,
Jerry Berry.
it's just I don't know. I could watch the show for hours, to be honest with you. And this is what, again, listen, like, if 5 seasons in, most people probably won't jump in. But if you're mildly interested, this is an incredibly high recommend. And it has been
Oh yeah,
for
man.
years from both of us, right? I mean, again, what else could we say, right? It's Rick and Morty.
Mm.
Hopefully it continues to do well. It's a great start, but
Yeah,
it's not how you start.
absolutely.
It's how you finish. Anybody can win. Anybody can win week 1, and still don't have to chew in case he beats me this week. Can you stick the landing? Can you GOT the situation is what we're saying here at the end of the day. So, but yeah, it's just fantastic story. It's just a great show. Peacock, last light. This kind of
Mm-hmm.
BBC-ish type thriller, if you
Mm-hmm.
will. We guy from Party of 5 and Lost. Well, he's more like Party of 65. He's pretty old. And he's I guess this oil industrial chemist or something along those lines.
Yeah,
Something like that.
basically he's a chemist,
Technician, I don't know, whatever you want to
Mm-hmm.
call it. Works for a major oil company, and I guess the oil has been contaminated. It's causing chaos across the world because there's no oil, and then obviously power. All hell breaks loose. So he gets kind of thrust in the middle of this. His agents get involved and uses help to figure out who's doing this and why, and they can stop it, etc., etc. And yeah, this is not a bad show. I won't go as far as to say that. It's not a good one. It's just dull, right? We've seen this kind of stuff 1,000 times, right? And
Middle of the road.
right, at best.
Paint by numbers.
Exactly.
I think this is kind of similar to some of the previous Peacock shows we got, where it doesn't really overextend itself as far as getting creative with the premise, right?
Right.
And so it's not bad. I mean, it's
It's not
mildly
terrible,
entertaining.
but like with so much shows come on, I'm not.
It's like I said, it's middle of the road.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is your thing. If you like this kind of action,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say action, but these kind of spy espionage-ish type of shows
exactly. Yeah.
that BBC turns out, yeah, I guess, but it's just mediocre. Again, the problem with the characters is. I say it's unlikable, but it's uninteresting, right? Because we've seen shows like The Old Man, for example, right, on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a new concept, right? We've seen that done 1,000 times, but the character itself is so fascinating. Him and Lithgow's character, right? And they're interesting,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to know about them as opposed to what's happening around them. This show is just the focus is just what's going on around everybody except the characters. And, they have the
Yeah,
whole
just the event itself, not the
right and the
characters.
wife and the kid thing. We've seen it 1,000 times. It's just not that interesting, and they didn't build enough. It's just it got middle road. I don't know if I even finished watching it, to be honest with you. It's a lot again. A lot of stuff going on. Too much for me to say. Oh yeah, stop and watch this show. Ultimately, right?
Mhm.
Not terrible. If this is your bag, like I said, it's not a bad watch, but yeah, not a high recommend from either one. Either one of us apparently. Um, Disney Plus. This is one I told you in the beginning I wasn't gonna watch, and I held my ground. And I should have watched the Pinocchio probably. That's
Yeah, probably.
Tierra Incognita. I'm not exactly sure what the show is truly about, but it's a Latino show. I get it, so I should have watched it. My bad. Chewy, your thoughts on this, and what is this actually?
This one is actually not bad. So this is a Spanish show. So I've watched it in Spanish, and so basically it revolves the disappearance of these kids' parents at this park uh, through supernatural means. Right? There's some ghost action. There's some portals. There's something going on at this particular park that was open once and now it's just abandoned. Uh, but it has some very some good supernatural elements to it, right? And obviously not some scares, right, and some dreaming sequences and whatnot. But it's a very interesting show actually. It's not bad, especially for Disney, and obviously it's not rated R or anything, so
Right.
it's still PG, but they still they still try to bring in the scare factor into it without being bloody or silly about it. And so it's part mystery, it's part supernatural, and obviously this kid's trying to either find what happened to his parents, discover what happened to his parents, or find out what this place is. And so that's what the show is about. So it's actually pretty interesting. It's not a bad watch. If you definitely should watch that instead of Pinocchio. It sounds
Well,
like.
there's a lot of things you didn't watch instead of Pinocchio. But it's more like filler, you would say. To
Um,
be fair.
Probably. I mean, it's not like Midnight Mass, right? Which we were a big fan
Yeah.
of that show, right?
Hmm.
And maybe even some of the other horror shows that have come out. I mean, it's not trying to be horror, right? Because it is on Disney, and it is not meant to be that. But it's still interesting enough and unique enough that it's definitely worth a watch and see if you enjoy it.
Okay. Fair enough. I doubt I get around to there's too much stuff going on. We watch a lot, but for the folks who don't watch as much as we do,
Mhm.
I guess this one should be on the radar, particularly Disney Plus. And listen, I'm not a huge fan of Disney Plus. I could do with or
Mhm.
without it, to be honest with you. If it wasn't Star Wars and Marvel, who cares, right? And even that stuff is not exactly blowing us away, right? It's not like, oh
Mhm.
my god, dude, it's not. So it is what it is. But yeah, whatever, fair enough. Next one, Hulu. This one caught my eye. Wedding Season. This
Mhm.
new 30 minutes ish kind of dark comedy show starring Rosa Salazar. She's part
Mhm.
Peruvian, Canadian born, part Peruvian, so we're going to support that here, Latiners Network. She, well, the main focus really on this guy that he met her at a wedding of which his girlfriend dumped him at. They meet, he falls in love because that's what he does essentially, but she finds out that she's already engaged. Months later, at her wedding, he tries to, I guess, what is it when they who anyone has a want to speak up now, whatever that sequence is. At the wedding, he comes in and he blows them off, but essentially the whole wedding party ends up being poisoned, including her husband,
Mhm.
and they die. So now she's ran away, so she's the suspect, obviously, but he is also a person of interest as he was the last one to really see her. And there's a past relationship a few months later, so they kind of chronicle what happened the months leading up to the wedding, etc., etc. Two of your thoughts on this one?
This was actually very entertaining. I really enjoyed it. It's probably more a mystery than dark comedy actually, because I've seen about 3 or 4 episodes now, and so we keep uncovering new clues of who this character is, who she really is. I'm at the point where I think they did a big reveal. I don't
Yeah,
want to spoil it,
I
but
won't
there's a
spoil it,
big
but I know what you're
reveal.
talking about. Yeah, because I've seen
Yeah,
four, so yeah.
you
Mhm.
know what I'm talking about. Okay. And so yeah, it's got some. I was not meant to be. There is no ha moments,
No,
right?
yeah, it's just dark humor. It's just not.
But
Yeah,
there's definitely some cringe moments. You're like, oh no, like when he's trying to stop the wedding, or I mean, obviously he's got a group of friends who are just completely just destroying him, very relationship and everything he does because it's just all wrong, man.
yeah. And his friends actually what really brings the humor in, right? And the situations
Yes,
and the things
absolutely.
that they say, and that brings that levity in there. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with it. I like this show. It's one of my favorite shows of the week, to be honest with you. I wasn't expecting Oni Murs in the building kind of stuff. But
Hmm.
it's a good mystery. They do open up a lot of cans as you go down. There are a lot of twists. I think I'm foreign. halfway through it. This Vegas episode. I'm not sure if you saw the Vegas episode or not.
No, no, not yet.
Okay, so that's the one coming up after the big reveal.
Okay.
But they get into it, so the mystery's unraveling, of course, and not everything's what it seems to be, which is good. Keep you on your toes. That's it. The friends are funny. There's a situation with the friends and what's going on. Because I keep apparently these guys go to weddings all the time. Apparently everyone they know is getting married because every time they show the flashback within 3 months
There are
period,
different weddings.
there's somebody's weddings. For Christ's sake, fine, whatever.
Or someone's engagement party.
Or something. Yeah, something's going on. So the situations within those circumstances are pretty funny. But yeah, it's a good show, man. This is a good recommend for me, man. I like this a lot on Hulu. I think all 8 episodes are available. I think it's 8, maybe 10. 30 minutes.
I think it's 8.
Yeah,
I think it's 8
a
episodes.
couple maybe 40 minutes, so it's an easy watch. Very good. Entertaining. It's probably, again, one of the best shows I've seen this week without question. Yes, better than Pinocchio. The next one, so recommended. The next one here, I was really interested in. This one, The Imperfects. New Netflix series about, I guess, these kids who had ailments and throughout, as they were getting treatment, they were giving stem whatever injections or whatever, causing side effects. The doctors.
But they were being experimented on.
That's the right word. Thank you. The doctor was doing it on purpose, trying to unlock secrets of immortality or whatever the case is. But every kid that went through this program had different side effects. These 3 in particular, you got the young boy Juan, Latinos, what I'm talking about, can become a chupacabra, a werewolf. I got one of the girls who's like a banshee, for example, and the third one's like a succubus. So now they're kind of banding together to find out why this happened, find out who the doctor did this to him, try to reverse the procedure. And they run into other characters who, throughout the show, which have other abilities as well, which are pretty interesting. So, Chewy, your thoughts on this one? This one for me, it could have gone either way before watching. I'm like, this could be an absolute disaster. It really could. Or it could be something interesting. Chewy, what side of the fence do you lie on there?
I thought it was going to be a disaster, honestly. But the more I watch it, the more interested I am to continue watching this show, because they start bringing in some other, not only the other kids who are impacted, right, and trying to find a doctor, but there's another element who, I guess, working against them to, I guess, kill, get revenge on a lot of the scientists that were involved in this process and in this experimentation. So I'm enjoying it, actually. It's not. I mean, it's not great, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, or cheesy, right? We've seen some pretty bad cheese type shows,
Absolutely.
A supernatural element type shows. But this is actually it's not a bad watch.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I'm shocked. I had this on a short lease. I'm going to watch the first one. This is going to be terrible. And it was okay. I'm not saying it was great. The second one by the third episode, I was locked in.
Yes, it kept getting better and better.
Right, that was really good. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. I think I've seen 4, maybe 5. I don't remember. But yeah, it's got that Umbrella Academy-ish vibe to it. Nowhere near as good. Don't get it twisted. But that kind of vibe, it's having fun. It knows what it is, right? It's kind of ridiculous at times, but it plays on. I like this kids learning how to use their abilities, like the succubus, and what she learns to do with it is cool. The chupacabra is fine. The banshee, I love her character. The banshee girl plays the banshee. She's great. A lot of cool lines. She has, and make a lot of movie references. And it's a play because all like, there's a play on what's going on with the comic books, and one of the kids wants to be a hero, so they're kind of referencing that a lot. But cool watch. It's interesting, man. Much better than I thought it was. Again, it's imperfect. Get it. But it's good. I guess it's an enjoyable watch if you like that kind of thing, like a Umbrella Academy kind of vibe. It's this is a mixture of that and X-Men, whatever you want to put on there. Any other MCU film, movie, whatever. Yeah, because I follow some of the same tropes, which is fine. But it's fun. I'm actually, you know what? I'm surprised. I'm okay. I'm gonna keep watching and finish it up, and I don't know, maybe it ends well and give it a second season. But it's really cool. Again, it has cool characters, right? That's the important part. You give it shit. It's like, okay, there's a fun character, despite the ridiculousness that's going on, right? But it never takes itself ultra serious at the same time, which is good. Because a show like this could fall off the rails really fast, and I thought that's what was going to happen here. Surprised? Yeah, absolutely. Netflix, good for them. I enjoyed the show, no doubt about it. Not great, but it's very good, solid watch. Next one, I'm gonna stick with Netflix. The next couple of shows here, and that's Cobra Kai, season 5, the greatest terrible cheesy show you can imagine, filled with just delight. Just the cheese, it oozes so much cheese, and that's what I love about this show, particularly if you're a fan of the Cobra Kai movies, and Karate Kid movies, etc. We wouldn't want to get too deep into the weeds with this one, because obviously, listen, if you haven't watched it by now, you're probably not going to watch it, right? But it's a show
Sad.
but it's a fun show. I mean, I guess not for everybody. I have enjoyed. I only saw one episode because I'm watching this. I'm taking my time with this one. I'm so many other shows to watch because again, it's a show we're gonna get too deep into it because season 5. I'm watching it. You're not gonna watch it now. But Chewy, your thoughts on the first episode?
No, I've seen that 2 episodes, and I like it, man. I'm a big fan of the show, big fan of the characters. I think they've taken it knows what it is, and they've tried to expand the story, bringing in other characters within the Karate Kid universe. I would say, and it's funny. It's got heart. It's cheesy action, but actually, I will say there was this one fight scene in episode 2 that's probably a lot better than any other
Really?
season we've
Okay.
seen. As far as the and obviously it's all about the choreography and the
Sure.
editing
Of course.
and the shooting because obviously some of the characters are older gentlemen to
Ah,
say the least,
okay.
and so not as nimble as a 20 or 30-year-old. But I think they did a really good job in this one scene at the Cobra Kai dojo or whatever. And where you're like, oh man, they put some work into trying to improve something because I feel
Finally.
there was a couple scenes, one scene, the garage scene last season. That was just
Oh yeah.
it's just the
I mean,
fighting
it's
was
funny
just
when the
terrible.
show revolving on karate, right? The competitions, the
Yeah.
karate is awful. It's really in terms of the action. But I guess that's what the show's about, right? And,
No, no, no,
I
no.
find
But I
it
mean,
odd that
at least it looked like they made an effort to improve it so it
okay,
wasn't so glaring,
yeah, 'cause
right?
it's really bad for what it is. And listen,
Sometimes, not always,
not
but
always, but
sometimes.
most of the
Yeah.
time. But listen, the show's not about that ultimately. This is not
Mm-hmm.
a there's classic Asian films where the action outweighs the story, right? This is more about the story and the characters, and it's fun. Right? It's a good
Mm-hmm.
show. It's fun, entertaining. If you're an '80s fan, this show has got so much '80s crap
Oh,
going on.
yeah, it's I mean, obviously, if you're an '80s
Ridiculous.
fan, obviously,
Oh,
okay, what's the guy's name? I can't remember his
Johnny,
character. Yeah, Johnny. I mean, he
phenomenal.
literally he's still stuck in the '80s.
Yeah, it's so good. I mean,
But I mean, there's this one scene. I think you saw an episode where they start playing Spanish version of what was the song? It was Sweet Child of Mine, I
yeah,
think, I
yeah.
believe. So I was like, holy shit! So they done in Mexico, so that was pretty comical.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great, man. It's just like I said, it's a cheesy show. It is, and I'm not gonna sit there and tell you it's the greatest thing you've ever seen. It's not.
But it's highly
But
entertaining.
exactly, it's
Right?
very
It's a
entertaining.
lot of
Yeah,
fun,
and
and,
it
and
knows exactly what it is and gives you exactly what it wants to give you.
yes,
No more, no
exactly.
less, right? But it's incredibly entertaining. So yeah, if you guys any interest at all, obviously in Karate Kid, you liked it, and you pick it up, watch it. It's really good. The next one here, Narco Saints, one I was looking forward to. This, of course, we've seen the Narcos in Colombia, Narcos Mexico, both really good shows, right? Big fans of. So I was kind of curious if this tie into any of those, and it kind of does somewhat. But this was a Korean one. It surprised me that I thought going into it, and we talked about last week before when I heard about it, that was going to
Hmm.
take place in South Korea and all that. But no, actually, it does take place in South America, in Suriname.
Hmm.
Is that saying it right?
Yes, sir, or not? Yeah.
Yes, right, just right above Brazil. Based, of course, on the true story, true events. We got this businessman who has an opportunity to go down there and start a business with this thing called skates. There's some kind of fish, I guess, which have no value
Yeah,
there.
some
Yeah,
sort of fish. That's
yeah,
a delicacy for Koreans. That not much. No one else really. It's not considered a edible or appealing fish.
right.
But for Koreans or South Koreans, I mean, they love it. They import it actually from Chile,
Yeah, so
from what I
he gets
gather.
involved in the business, could be very lucrative, but then he finds himself thrown in the middle of not say drug war, not the right word, but he meets individuals who take advantage of him, used him to kind
Hmm.
of transport the goods, cocaine, etc.
Yeah,
Which
first the military, then some local thugs, then a priest who you can kind of put the dots together. He wasn't nice for being nice.
right, exactly, wasn't a priest, and I guess because things go bad, he ends up getting arrested. The businessman, but now has opportunity to get out, and he not makes a deal with the NIS, but he makes a business deal. This guy's pretty business savvy. He cuts a
Mhm.
deal to go ahead. Okay, he will infiltrate this the cartel. Well, I guess the cartel there, away from that, for lack of a better word. Get the information because they would not arrest the guy. Of course, the priest who's been untouchable for a long time. And I gotta say, this one surprised me. I was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Very good because usually with the South Korean shows, they can be overly dramatic. I admit that, and I enjoy some of them. But
More overly over the top than
over the
some of the
top,
other ones we've seen.
overly done. And again, the big focus on fantasy for most of the shows that I've enjoyed with them.
No, but this one
This is
is,
more
is
grounded.
I mean, there's no
Yeah,
fantasy element.
right.
This
This is a
is,
purely grounded
I
show.
mean, some of it is exaggerated, obviously for dramatic
Of
purposes, but
course, course.
they tried to base it on actual events and his actual story, and obviously telling it from his perspective, right? Because he's narrating the events
Hmm.
as they transpired, and it's actually about his life and how he got involved and what transpired. But it's one of these shows where you can find it very fast. Obviously, we're a big fan of narco type shows, right? And especially that are historically relatively accurate, and you'll find it's quite as entertaining. It's a different aspect that probably most people were not aware of
I
or
wasn't
knew
too.
about, right? Because the focus is always on the Colombians or the Mexicans, right? And not so much the rest of the world. But definitely, I would definitely put this on your watch list. And it's only 6 episodes, so it's relatively short
No, which is good.
for this type of show.
Concise. I
Yeah.
think I'm halfway through. I actually saw one this morning. I was getting up. I was like, put one on.
Hmm.
Very good, man. I'm surprised. It's really well done. Very grounded.
Hmm.
Again, this is. It felt like it was in the Narcos world, right?
Yes.
That we used to. Really well done. Great production.
Hmm.
The main character, he's got some balls, I tell you. Which I like, and I like how they kind of focus in the first episode his story and how he got to where he was, what
Yeah,
that
I mean, it
entailed.
started as he
Yeah,
was a child, his history with his dad, and him getting married. So, and obviously trying to make it right, trying to start small with the business and finding opportunity, and with the garage and obviously the clubs and stuff, but still barely making by.
right.
And we got this presents opportunity to, where I would say it was legitimate, right? He
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
trying
this
to
guy, yeah, this guy wasn't trying to.
swindle
Yeah,
anybody.
no,
I
he
mean,
was
he's like the friend came
a
out to Peru to
legitimate
get this
business. Yeah,
fish
of
for
course.
cheap, right? With the importing it to Korea, they could be very lucrative for them. But it just didn't turn out that way.
No, yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, wasn't he was they was smuggling drugs unbeknownst to him inside the fish, and he agrees
Mm.
he gets caught in the middle of it. In the middle of it, but really well done, really good. I really like this a lot. I'm super surprised. I didn't expect
Mhm.
it. Yeah, it's up there with the rest of the Narco stuff and quality. You into those shows? This one is absolute on the watch list for sure.
Mhm.
Enjoying it. Very good watch. I can't wait to finish this one up. We'll see these other seasons. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's a limited season or not. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, so there's the shows for this week. So avoid Pinocchio, some other stuff in there. Watch Pinocchio, yeah, I get it. Yeah, kids, fine, fair enough. But next week,
Watch Love and Thunder.
watch.
That's what I say.
Sure, I get. I mean, it's better.
Oh, don't hate it, dude. I
I
don't care
know
what you say. I
I've
really like
never
that movie,
hated on
man.
Love and Thunder. I like Love and Thunder. It's just not great. It's okay. Not every movie has to be great.
No, no, it's true,
Fun.
but I like it a lot.
It's
It's funny, man.
entertaining. It's
It's
fun.
very entertaining. It's very funny.
Yeah, is it not Pinocchio? Yes, and that's always a plus.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that aren't Pinocchio, so I'm not gonna watch movies because it's not Pinocchio. But it's good. Yeah, of course, watch it. But next week, another big week coming up. Well, kind of. Some stuff I don't watch, probably won't watch, and that first one is *Handmaid's Tale* on Hulu. It's season 5, 6, I don't remember.
All right,
Yeah,
season
I
five.
never got into it. It's a really good show. I get it. I'm not saying it's bad. I just couldn't get into it. And I was like, it's too,
It's not. It's
too
just
much.
yeah.
Yeah,
You're not going to start now, so forget it. Right?
right, exactly.
So
But
you recognize it is a critically acclaimed show.
right, but it's a great show. I know people love the show. People like absolutely. So that dropping a season on the 14th, I think
Mm-hmm.
Monday, Tuesday. I don't know.
I believe Tuesdays. It's a weekly show.
Tuesday. Also Tuesdays. Okay, so and then on Peacock again. Hopefully the last
Peacock?
two have been questionable. Last two releases. I got a feeling it's gonna be 3 in a row, but I want to misjudge. But it'll be a short leash here, and that's for the Vampire Academy. That's on
Yes.
the 15th. There was a movie about, and it was based on a series, young adult series,
Mm-hmm.
book series. I know there
Correct.
was a movie too, which was fucking awful.
I don't remember the movie,
Yeah,
but so maybe that's a good thing.
nobody remembers the movie. You should remember the movie. It's not as good as Pinocchio. That's not a good thing. But yeah, I guess I don't know. It's with vampires in this academy, of course. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm big into vampire stuff, just not the young adult stuff.
I mean, just think Harry Potter, but with vampires, right?
Yeah, something like that. I think it's something around that. Let's see. Whatever. On the 16th, I believe it's a Friday. Los Spookies. I don't know what this show is, to be honest with you. Season 2 on HBO Max.
This is a fantasy horror comedy.
Okay.
It's as best as I can describe it.
I,
It's a
I,
Mexican show. It involves like a demon hunter, Mexican demon hunter, and comes from a long line of hunters. So there's a lot of supernatural elements, ghosts, demons, just different aspects, some monsters and whatnot. And it's funny. It's definitely unique. You don't see anything like this on most shows in the HBO Max show. I saw season 1, and so it's it's worth a watch if this is what the type of genre show you would like to see and kind of
I'm gonna make it a
mixing of
point.
things.
I'm gonna make it a point to watch 1 or 2 episodes of the first season. Obviously, won't see
Yes.
them on the second season, but I'm gonna watch to see. I'm curious. I just hadn't heard about it. It's not that I didn't want to watch it. I just didn't know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a shot to see if I like it. If it's 30-minute episodes or is it like an hour?
These are 30-minute
Okay,
episodes.
so
Yes.
I'll make it easy. Maybe watch maybe at least 1 or 2, and get a sense of it. And I'll probably mention it next week.
Mhm.
We talk about season 2. On the 16th as well as next 3 all on Friday. This is one I'm definitely not gonna watch. Season 2 of Fate: The Winged Saga. Whatever fans out there, now you know it's coming out. Chu, you watch the show? I think you do.
Yeah, actually, I do watch
Okay,
the
so
show.
Chu will talk about it. Yeah, but disclaimer, not seeing it. This next one is a film, Do Revenge. Um, with the girl from Stranger Things, daughter of Ethan
Yeah,
Hawke
Maya
and
Maya Hawke, right?
Hawk, thank you very much. Yeah, so this was kind of a high school comedy, comedy, I guess,
Hmm.
where I guess there's two, it's a rival students. I guess they're getting
Yeah.
favors to down the other one, right? And they're using someone to help do that, whatever the case is. The trailer didn't look that great. I'm gonna give it a shot. Whatever,
Yeah, let's see.
it's
Let's
fine.
see. If you sat through Pinocchio, you at least sit through 50 minutes and it's worth
Right,
it.
I'll short leash. I'll give it the 30, 45 minutes and see how it goes from there. But that's
That's
from
a
me.
pretty long leash for a 2 hour
Well,
movie.
for a
Good lord.
movie, you gotta give it time. I gotta let it marinate. Just see how it goes. The show's different, right? The show is 3 episodes. That's about. It could be
Mhm.
3 hours, well, almost 3 hours on the show. So I can get away 45 minutes.
Okay.
If it's really bad, 10 minutes. I'm just saying, if it's okay, we kind of, I don't know, a little bit more. I'll get to 45. I'm still like, I don't know, then I'm out, right? But
Okay.
so I give it time to hook me in. This next one, series, Spanish series, which we're fans of, Chewy, is Santo.
Hmm.
Coming off Narco
On
Santos.
Netflix.
Yeah, I'm more excited about the show now because Narco Santos is
This is
pretty
this is
good.
more a police drama,
Yeah,
I
police
think.
drama. Two cops trying to chase down a drug dealer who no one's seen his face, something
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah, and I think it takes place in Spain and Brazil, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so it looks interesting. Again, these Netflix thrillers are usually middle of the road. That's not necessarily a
Mhm.
bad thing.
Well,
You
but
know,
the Spanish ones, I think it's they do a better job of weaving a story that's interesting and into a good series, right? So we've seen
no, no, it is.
some of these
Yeah,
some of them that have been very boring. Like I think the last one we saw from Spain was not that. I mean, I was bored. You enjoyed it more than I did. Um, about the mother who died or
oh
the
yeah, yeah,
daughter
yeah, yeah. I didn't
disappeared.
mind that. I didn't mind that. I was
Yeah,
fine. And then I think the last wasn't the Spanish show with the girl in the mirror, wasn't that a Spanish show?
yeah, but I didn't. You enjoyed it more than I did.
Yeah,
I think
I kind of like
I
that. Yeah,
didn't finish it.
yeah,
I jumped off it.
yeah, I
I
like
didn't
that one.
find it interesting
Yeah,
actually.
wasn't bad. Actually, ended up better than it started. But that being said, yeah, like I said, it could be hit or miss. Who knows? But we'll check it out. Get Santo on next
Mhm.
week. So I'm not watching Fate, so it gives me more time to see Santo.
There you go.
For that matter. But yeah, so that's next week. So plus there's Rick and Morty going on, Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings. Obviously, people are watching those.
So the dragon.
Obviously,
Oh man, that last episode was so good,
last
man.
time was fantastic. And Damon Targaryen.
I want to draft Damon for my team.
He's my new hero, man. He's fucking awesome.
I didn't realize he did not say a single word
Yeah,
in that episode.
no. Oh, I think he said maybe 1 or 2 lines. I think maybe he didn't.
No, he
No,
didn't.
not a
He
word.
did
Okay,
not.
no, okay,
I rewatched it and
okay.
not. I mean,
No, no, it
there
was.
was there was a grunt when he's kicking the messenger's
Yeah, but
ass,
that's not exactly
but
a word.
aside from that, he did not say a, and he didn't say and there was no dialogue, and he still carried out.
No, I mean it's a fantastic episode. Lord of the Rings gave us the best episode of the 3 so far. Bad Sisters, I'm watching. I'm still watching Mike. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. 5 Days of Memorial, probably finish that up. I think the last episode is this week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that wraps up on
yeah.
Friday.
So
So
we'll jump on that though next week as far as it ending. So yeah, a lot of good stuff out there. So guys, of course, as a recommendations for the week, check us
Well,
out. Oh,
actually, before you sign out, did you hear the news that actually Netflix is now actually considering moving
well,
away from the binge model?
yes, I forgot about to bring that up as I'm talking
Mhm.
about that. But yeah, fine. I think yeah,
It's about time.
yeah. Netflix was like it reminds you of Apple, right? No matter what, Apple is a great product. Of course it is. I don't have it, but I'm not saying it's bad. But Netflix, like Apple in the beginning, they were the innovators. They set the standard, right? This is how the model you should follow. Everyone just follows suit. And
Hmm.
now, much like Apple, they've fallen behind, right? They're
Hmm.
catching up to what everyone else is doing. And I've been saying we talked about it for a long time. I wish it was a weekly or a couple episodes a week, like a la
Yeah,
Arcane, right? Which really worked.
I mean, not
You
not
know,
every
not
show
every show
has
has
to
to be
be
weekly.
binge,
Agreed.
but if you're gonna be, set up your marquee shows or shows that when you see it, this could be one of the flag bearers for the company. Why not make it weekly?
Of
Maybe two a
course.
week. Break it up over several weeks, not just binge it all because
It keeps
it
the
just
conversation going. I
yes,
mean, we
yes,
talk Game of
absolutely,
Thrones for 10 weeks in a row, and everyone's watching it, right? As opposed to if HBO would have released it, everyone's binging it. Obviously, we're
yes.
watching within days or a week, or some people a day, and then it ends. Okay, next
Hmm.
week, what's next, right? But now, if people watching HBO for 10 straight weeks, people watching the reason why Marvel succeeds not on quality in terms of the shows is because they get it released every week. So people are talking
Hmm.
about it for every week, and next month's a new show, and that's the best model to promote your shows. You're right, that and not only
Awesome,
that,
awesome. By the way, awesome Wong.
and well, I'm not even gonna into She-Hulk. But yeah, that's the great model, man. I hope they do it. I really do hope they do it because they need. If Stranger Things was a weekly thing, oh my God, it'd be huge, huge,
Yeah.
right? It was huge anywhere.
And even in this season, they still broke it up into two parts. You had one May, one July. But yes, imagine if that was weekly. Or
It'd be
a couple episodes
monstrous,
a week.
right?
If you want to change the game, okay, give us 2 episodes a
Two
week,
weeks,
right?
like
Make it.
yeah, Arcane was a great example when they did 2 episodes a week, and that was such a good show.
They did three actually.
The three,
They
so three,
did
I was three a
three.
week, right? Three a
Yeah.
week. It worked fine. I think it
Hmm.
worked great. I think and that show is very good and it gained viewership as it went on because people
Hmm.
talked about it for
Word of mouth to
two
say
or
this.
three
You gotta
weeks,
watch
right?
this. You
Yeah,
gotta
people were
watch
like, oh, I
this.
gotta
Yeah.
see the show. Fine, you can still binge. You want to wait 8 weeks and binge it? By all means, have at it. But yeah, it's the right way to do it, and you can make less shows and spend less money. Netflix, you spend too much money.
Hmm.
Spend less money. You don't need that much content when you're releasing an episode of 2 or 3 shows like Apple does,
Yes.
right? Apple releases a show, waits a couple weeks, maybe another show, but it's only one episode.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
right, so it
Yeah.
kind of intertwine.
They'll give you two. If it's a new show, they'll give 2 or 3
Right,
to get you interested and then committed to continue the weekly watch. But like the
right.
established show, like C or For All Mankind, it was one episode, and you gotta wait till next week to see
Right,
the next
exactly.
episode.
Amazon does it with things like The Boys and a lot. Not
Hmm.
every show. Again, not everything has to be weekly, but your big stuff. You know, you got a show
No.
that this could hit. Imagine Squid Game, right? That's a great example.
Hmm.
Of that Squid Game that should be weekly release from. Clear example. That show blew up. It's huge, obviously. Next season, if that is a weekly show, that's a show exactly is put on weekly to get people talking about it for 8 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever it is. And those who
Yes.
haven't seen the first one are probably more likely to watch it now, right?
Yeah. Go back, binge the
Right.
first
Yeah, because
season, and
they're
then
not behind. Now,
pick it up.
sometimes people don't watch it because they're behind already. Oh, I already missed it. Too late. Everyone's already seen it. Why bother?
I missed the boat. Yeah.
Right. This way, you haven't missed the boat yet. It's still mid-season. I can go catch up and then see what everyone's talking about. But by the
Hmm.
middle of the year. So I hope so. I don't know when this is going to be. If it's going to be this year, or next year. But at least they're finally talking about it, making some sense. Thank you, Netflix.
Hmm.
'Cause we love Netflix. We don't like when the stock drops. No one likes all this nonsense and the overspending. No one likes that. We just see it. We want success out of Netflix because they're still the best streamer out there. There's no
Hmm.
question. Despite you can say, yeah, a lot of crap. I get it. Everything is crap. Apple gives us crap sometimes, rarely, but they
Hmm.
gives us crap. Disney gives us crap. Peacock for
Hmm.
sure. HBO doesn't
Yeah.
always
Right.
hit. They're great. Don't get me wrong, but they all give us crap, so it's fine. But yeah, so I hope they do that. That's a good point, yeah, because that's big news. I would love to see
Yes.
that. I really hope they do that. So, but that being said, of course, check us out, guys. Before you watch your football, give us a shot. Set your watch list, like, subscribe, comment. Did we miss any show? Do you agree what we liked and what we didn't like? You think Chewy's out of his mind with his fantasy team? Just kidding, Chewy. With that being said,
Next week people are gonna be shocked when I go 2-0 and you're 0-2 against it. I'm just
it's
saying.
one game, dude.
I'm
I'm
just
getting
saying.
excited, dude. When I score a touchdown,
I'm just
I'm like
saying,
very sad.
dude. Multi-league going head to head.
It's
Let my team speak for itself.
could lose. I'm very sad. I give the ball to the referee and move on to the next play. That's how I do it, dude.
Act like you've been there
It's
before.
how you finish, not how you start. Talking to
Hey,
you,
well,
BB and Weiss. But that being said, good luck to all you football fans. Hope your team wins. Ours is probably gonna lose because that's what they do. We see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.